today I wanna explain because when people they see the works and they will make questions. So today my presentation how this work is related to my previous work. And can I sit down? Yeah. Before we begin, I would like to say some few words for word of our thanks to from the SUNGPIL Gallery because actually I'm a newcomer and he told me that it's only 4 years because even though I had many exhibitions internationally but I came here is I'm a new artist, so I'm very appreciated. And also Eve and Kevin and Judy from the gallery, they organize the exhibition. Also, thank you for the exposure festival. Because I met him through the portfolio review in 2021, and then he liked my work and he communicate, and then finally I could show my work as well. Also for those projects, I also thank you to the KDA, Calgary Art Development, because they support for the funding for this project as the name of Art Share. Also AFA, Alberta Foundation for the Art, they purchased some of the work. And then it showed me up to continue to work because like a new artist, it's difficult to survive, but this can be good support to artists. And the last one, because I would like to thank it to the Canadian government because I could start as a new career as an artist because they provide me like a SEI permanent resident, and I can settle down in Canada and I can continue to work here. And then let's start to show my presentation and then meet Dave and hear some questions if you have. Okay, so my works, my previous works is about like my personal memories or some works like my cultural and architectural elements, or also environmental issues like because my work about like glacial loss and wildfires and energy productions and how humans impact to the nature. That was from 2004 from Indonesian jungles and then nuclear power stations. And also in 2013, I had a chance to go to Arctic and Antarctic. Because when people think about the Arctic and Antarctic, most of people think about only ice and snow or polar bears and penguins. But there are lots of the hidden history of the coal mining and whale oils. So I focus on those projects as well. Since I moved to Canada, I focus on the environmental issue in Canada, looking about the retreat of glaciers and the wildfires, and then forgotten coal mining site in the Rocky Mountains. You can see more work. And also many people ask me about the medium, whether those are like photography or painting or pencil drawing. But how this result is related to my work, I can show some more visually with my presentation. It starts from 1998, from my earliest work. And then my concept is expand to facade project and statues of liberties. You can see more work in here. And then the second question, that whether it's all manipulation for street photo. And then you can see more details from my presentation. This is my current work, this is wildfire. Title is frozen ice. And then glacier works. It's a coal mining site. It's a Lucas. It's near Hinton in Edmonton. This work is when I was 15 years old. I saw the sea for the first time, and then those work is about my memories of the sea. But when people they see that this series, they ask me about whether those work is the photography or painting. That's why I had a question by myself, because now all mediums like merging together, because after the digital converted, the medium is like merging together. That's why I had a question, why is important kind of medium? So that's why I had a question. Those work expand to the facade series. You can see more working behind. Any questions?
No, keep going. I have a few.
Yeah. And then I had a chance to go to Indonesia in 2005, and then I could see how the Indonesian jungles is changing now because of plantation of palm plantation get the palm oils, also slush burn for get the field. So that's kind of now situation in Indonesia, not only in Indonesia, also in Amazon as well. And then I found many wild animals. They lost their shelter as well.
Their what? Can you say that again?
Most of the wild, like bears or orangutan, they lost their shelter environment, and the adults are catching to be eaten, or they are sold to the zoo anyway. But the babies, they just capture the local, like a pet. So I found this kind of situation in 2005, and then also in 2005 I had the chance to go to the France. It's a nuclear power stations, and they like evaporation, and it also for me it's very important to continue to like environmental issues as well. Like in 2015.
Just while you're on these pictures of the nuclear power plants, can you just explain to us what we're seeing in these pictures? If you go back to the one just prior to this.
Okay.
You know, it's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of context there, which I think is important.
Yeah, this is evaporation. I use a long exposure, but it's because I think it's a kind of relation to this work. Some people think that it's very beautiful, and they can't feel like issues of environmental things. But in my opinion, that this image, they show kind of appeal to people think about image, and then like artists want to show the image behind beyond the image of the meaning. So because people think that every beauty have their own tone, because black roses have look like beauty, but there are hidden sharpness in there.
So what you're saying is that, you know, I mean, you have presented it, so that's the evaporation from the nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
And you're looking down the Seine as you're looking at this particular nuclear reactor, correct?
Yeah.
The river. And so your point is that, okay, you have picture here, but you have all of these layers behind that picture that
Yeah.
tell a much larger and more difficult story?
Because when I was there, I took a train from Paris to here. It's only 1.5 hours. When I was there, I saw like a evaporation from the lake. But I did because I didn't know that there is so massive of a nuclear power station there. Because from this nuclear power station, almost 20% of the French electronic from there, and then it's quite amazing or like some strange feeling that it's coexist with the people living with a nuclear power station with a very beautiful landscape. So I want to contain my work with that kind of mixture in my images. That's why I use like a long exposure, look sometimes familiar but look sometimes strange. This I use the long exposure and then make that style. So is your question? Okay. Do you have any questions?
So you're talking about the danger of the nuclear plant, but also the beauty that it creates in this.
Actually, not only danger because every notions are changing now. Because of course it's danger, but we don't live without the energies. Because the art, the roles of art is kind of showing the artwork, and through the artwork, people can discuss to find the good solution or philosophical way to find it. So I want to real situation what happened now. So of course everybody has different opinion, but my feeling was all mixed together. Okay, it looks kind of dangerous, but we need the energy everywhere because like a nuclear notion is changed after the tsunami in Fukushima in Japan. Most countries they try to open to produce the nuclear power, but now it's returned because the like a substantial energy is not enough to produce. Now many people use a lot of energy now. So these are the many countries return to the nuclear power station. But I think the most important thing human beings need to reduce the consuming the energy anyway. But we have to find a good solution. But I think that's kind of role of the art to give a idea to initially think about to find a good solution.
So when you look around, when you present this work in here,
Yeah.
and you think about your role as an artist,
Yeah.
not only making artwork, but in that broader conversation about climate change, about environmental degradation. So what is your role in presenting this work in the gallery?
Okay.
You think it is?
Yeah. Actually, everybody knows about wildfire. And then because everybody knows it's very serious at the moment. But I think like because as a role of artist, because those work is kind of actually in 2021 I had a chance to go to Waterton, and then in May suddenly because when we with my family when we there, but it wasn't any snow because in May, but the next day it covered with the snow. It's completely different feelings. So
Just one day,
after one day in May, and then I could see the only the burnt trees because I read some text about the what's Waterton, and I knew that it's wildfire, but I didn't know it's so serious with the wildfire. And then after the snow covered, I could see the like a very massive size of the wildfire in there, and it remind me kind of oriental painting. So okay, I want to make a work of that landscape because it's beautiful with when I see the snow covered wildfire area, and because at the same time I can show more detail how serious of a wildfire site because the all white snow covered we can see like a shape. So that is I started this work, and then I think I can show more accurately show the situation in Waterton, and I expand to this project from the Rocky Mountains in Banff National Park and Jasper. So I think artist's role is quite important to especially like a photography medium to understand the situation and then create. We create the artwork through the reality. That's my I think that's the role of the artist.
That's a good, okay, so continue, so that's
Okay.
jumping off, yeah.
So if you have any question at any time. Yeah, this work is about facade because my earliest work in the my C work is I had a big question about what is medium or whether photography or painting, and someday I found the building with covers with the scaffolding with the images. Then the image replaced the reality. So I think that is kind of a jump to from the MyC and kind of a solution or answer. What's the question about the photography and then the painting? So this I started this project from 2005. This 2020 in Chateau de Versailles. It's covered date. Actually, I didn't install that one, but I convert the installation. You can see more later. But this image from the inside of the cathedral to take outside, and the co-exist with the real building and then image itself is covered. But people think there's a kind of manipulation, but it's not.
I'm curious because, you know, you have some of the photographs up here, and I guess for anybody that's interested, this book is really worthwhile picking up because it's of course it shows a lot more of the work that Juan was just briefly pointing out to us tonight. But there's a fair bit of work that you have done of taking pictures of facades, and then you'll go on to talk about the work that you did wrapping buildings or putting up, you know, facades in front of buildings. And I'm curious about this, you know, that blurry line between reality and illusion. Were you thinking about any of that when you were making this work?
Yeah, I think everybody has their own illusion. Like because also this work kind of illusionary thing because when people think about the wildfire, most of people they've seen on the newspapers or the television that the trees are firing and smoking now. But it looks like an oriental painting illusion, but it can be because the facade series. I don't want to show the only surface of that one because I want to show behind of the image there's another meaning. Those work is because people when they see the work they think about some people they have a question about the medium there's a photography or painting, or some people think about this like wildfire, or some people think about like abstract paintings. But I want to audiences think about behind of the work to another real meaning of that. The facade because there's kind of relation between the facade sleeve and then the profile. Yeah, it's
Yeah, no, it's good, and then you've got the facade work to show as well.
and then yeah, this is what I did. I used the 4x5 films, and I want to show it's not like a manipulation. Yeah. And also this work is a statue, actually titled Statues of Liberty. It's like also there are many replica of Statue of Liberty in Asia. It's like also expand my concept from the facade about originality of a replica, also behind of those images like historical context or social things or something like that. So I continue this work as well. Love hotels in South Korea with the Statue of Liberty. Also, people think that is kind of manipulation, but it's not. You can see more details. This is the Eiffel Towers in South Korea and in Vietnam. I used those 4x5 cameras. This is in Japan. And one day, when I took a picture of the facade series, I really wanted to involve the space because take a photo is kind of interpret the space because I have to think about the spaces and then have to think of the height and location. But I really wanted to involve the space. I started to do installation. This why I did the installation from 2009 with the covering the buildings. I took a interior one to take outside. You can see.
So, can you explain that previous slide? Go back.
This one?
No, the next one. Keep going. So, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, actually, that building is a space. The building name is space. It's a dual meaning, but it's very important Korean contemporary architecture. But people don't know the inside because it's private building. So I want to take her outside from the inside, take her outside. I took all the pictures and take picture outside with the scaffolding and use this covering. You can see all procedure on the wall.
Excuse me. What do you mean by manipulation?
Because the manipulation, there are many meanings. But for me, like a manipulation, the photo collage. Like for you, like yeah, that should be good example that when people think about this picture, they think like a collage with building and Eiffel Towers. But
As if there were two different pictures that you put together.
put together, people think, but actually it's not. Actually it's really exists somewhere.
So you didn't modify anything, right?
No.
There's a real thing.
Real thing. Because in my opinion, the important thing as a photography format medium is like containing reality, like a documentary photography, but different way because 4x5 with like a technical way, but like basically it's important containing reality. So it's okay. Sorry.
So the point is that you're not manipulating this.
No.
Yeah.
It's influence.
But could you show the photograph where you of the building where you're seeing the inside, appear to be seeing the inside?
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you consider that manipulation?
I don't think so because the building I took picture of the inside and I just attach of those one because that inside really exists there. I didn't take a different building.
But it seemed like you manipulated things in order to accomplish that end.
I mean the manipulation in my expression manipulation of this work. If I took a picture of these images from another building, yeah, I installed that one. That could be manipulation, but it's not because that building from this building inside take out the outside. I think that is not manipulation. Of course, it's different the expression everybody, but in my expression, it's not manipulation.
Yeah, no, it's clear to me what
Yeah.
you mean.
Okay, yeah. I know it's sometimes.
But I think this is, you know, it's a good question because it's this really gray line between reality and illusion that you've got here. And you've taken pictures of the inside of this building, you put them on the outside. You know, it's when you first approach this building and maybe you see it for the first time, you know, I think your instinct is to go, am I seeing, you know, the facade of this building taken off?
Yeah.
You know, and yet you've accurately represented the inside of the building, and when people then take that next moment
Yeah.
to look at the image, they get what you're trying to do. They get that, you know, you have put a photograph in front of the building to let people know what's inside the building.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Long conversation because actually with Dave we talk about which art do I like because I told you George Lear.
Yeah.
It's kind of conceptual way, different way because even though take a picture is kind of manipulation.
Right. So
Depends on point of view.
just let me interrupt here. So Han was talking about there's an American conceptual artist named Joseph Kosuth, and you can, it's quite famous for a number of things, but one of the projects that he did was 1 in 3 chairs, and Han shared this with me a couple of weeks ago. That this was, you know, a project that really spoke to him. Joseph's project was called 1 in 3 chairs. He had a chair in the gallery. He had a picture of that same chair right beside it, and then he had a text with the definition of a chair. And so, you know, Kosuth was part of conceptual work in the 60s where it was trying to link language to image. But this was an image, and this was a way of working conceptually that really interested you, yes?
Yeah. Also the John Lear, like like a four pictures. One's like a dance of religion or something.
Yeah, I think that was John Hilliard's
John
Cause
Hilliard.
of Death.
Yeah. Cause of Death.
Yeah. So which were 4 or 5 pictures of a body on a ground that the artist had framed in different ways, as if to sort of call into question, you know, exactly what was going on in those pictures, exactly what was being represented by those pictures.
Yeah. So I think the artist, in my opinion, nobody can be in the middle, but the artist, I think the important role of the artist can be, it can be like one bias to right or left. Try to keep the balance to show the reality. But of course it's impossible. Try to do my best to show the world because I've been to like all wildfire place. There's a real one, and I want to do like whether it's good or not. Because sometimes like a typhoon, because typhoon damage all the civilizations. But for the positive way, after the typhoon, the clean of the oceans. That's why the very important. There's 2 sides of coin. So yeah, that's my attitude of the art. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
You're the song.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, those one my installations.
And again, this is more, are these more images of the inside of buildings put on the outside?
Actually, those ones inside of inside to take outside. But this one is like a landscape of this is in between North Korea and South Korea. And then very untouched nature. I want to cover building with that area. And then the Cuba in Havana Biennale, I put one layer of Asian images like a Korean pagoda. It's a kind of metaphor because Cuba has a kind of a communist country, but that pagoda is kind of the symbol of unification and peace. So I want to put this image in here with some kind of metaphor as well. Because also in Cuba there are three layers. One is the all the building like a European French building, and the people are different races. From there, I wanna add one more layers here.
So, in my remarks, I spoke about a subtle political agenda. And maybe David, you can flesh this out a little bit with Han, but this is not so subtle. This is an image of peace and reunification in Korea being superimposed on a building in Cuba, which we all know what that's about. So can you tease that out a little bit to talk about the kind of politics of Han's work, because it's there.
Okay, so I will explain more background on this one because I was invited to the Havana Biennale in Cuba in 2015. So I want to show something strong image like not political way, but as you see the wall of the Statue of Liberty, and then I want to install two images, one is Statue of Liberty, and also I did some project in Germany, actually like a statue of the Marx and Engels. So I want to put those one together. But actually, the censorship in Cuba is so strong. They're so pissed off. You can't install those ones because they're all controlled by the government. So okay, I have to change the idea, but I gave that idea with my concept because kind of metaphor. Also, the images because different layer with the kind of Cuban society with another layer add. So they like the work because sometimes even though I don't want to be political, but has to be kind of balanced because all censorship from the government, so have to balance it.
Jim, what was the reaction from the Cubans seeing this building?
Yeah, because the many people they like to work because so first of all in Cuba they don't have advertising because of communism, and then they never seen so big large size of the government. The first one, and they think the image gave to them to open the new Asian world. So, and it's quite fresh to them. And then it's funny that in Cuba, the most important newspaper is the Granma. Granma is from the Cuban government. They have the daily newspaper in the front, in the first page, they show the image as well. It's quite true. This is in 2018 in Busan Biennale. I started to cover like a nature, untouched images. This image is Moses from the Iceland because the whole gray area when you've been to Korea, two main buildings, and then I want to show some kind of green things in Australia with the eye smell. I want people feel like on the space. I install with the glaciers.
Han, I'm curious about this work. Is the point of the work the installation, or is the point of the work the photographic record after the fact? Or is it both?
Both. Because you know, it's like the photography is very versatile way, kind of recording or documentation or like art form and recording of the history. So this all mixed up like both. In Fukuoka, in Japan, Buddhist temple. And actually the reason I focus on the environmental issue in Canada, that is I had chance to go to Svalbard in the Arctic in 2013 and 2016. Even though 3 years, of course it's not general thing, but I felt that the weather is changing. Like in Calgary, many people say that compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it's getting warmer and warmer and not so much snow. It's 2013 October and 2016 October. It's not so much snow. So I felt the world is changing now. So actually I've been to Canada, the Lake Louise, 2014. I was fascinated over landscape of Lake Louise. So I decided to do this glacial loss in the Antarctic and in Patagonia. That is starting point to the glacial work in Canada. Here, it's the O'Hara, Lake O'Hara.
And you can see that image. That image, I think, is just outside here.
On the other side, yeah.
And then there is content of glacial water in summer. So lots of quantities. And then coal mining in the Rocky Mountain. There are many hidden stories as well, but it's too long to explain everything. But you can see the book.
You've started working on a project here in Alberta about coal mining history. This is part of the work that is underway right now.
Yeah, because my previous work, you can see it here. Actually, I did the coal mining project from the Arctic. The Svalbard is in the Arctic. Here is Canada, and then Svalbard here. It's relics of coal mining in the Arctic. Because I was so
Now back to a regular discussion.
yeah. because in 2013, when I was in Arctic and Antarctica, only people, well, I told the people, friends that I plan to go to Arctic and Antarctic, but they said, oh, you can see the lots of penguins and